Five Nights at Freddy's. This is gonna be a long video. I remember being like 9 and watching Markiplier play this game on my Wii U. Yeah, I was a loser. I was nearly as addicted to this as my creepy uncle is to black tar heroin. I mean, I thought the books, the graphic novels, the short stories, I even have it on my Xbox. I was invested in this series for as long as I can remember. Some of my fondest childhood memories are of watching different creators make videos about this series. Looking back, I'm not totally sure why I liked the game so much. Whether it was brutal child murders, the gameplay, or just the influencers that made the videos about it, something about it was just so attractive to me. So now we're going to get into it. So I started watching FNAF back when I'm like 2012, right about when it first came out. And the reason I watched it instead of playing it is because I had a Wii U and a Wii and I was super broke and couldn't afford any other way to play it. So I started out watching Jacksepticeye and Markiplier, as most of us probably did. And then this smaller channel, I don't know if you've heard of them, Game Theory? They started making videos about it? I don't know. Maybe they're a little obscure. And 6-7-year-old me saw this, went, wow, and fell down the biggest rabbit hole of my entire life. I mean, I bought the books, I bought the games on my Xbox, I had it all. I was dedicated to solving this mystery. I wanted to know all the information there was. If you don't know what FNAF is, I don't know what rock you've been living under, but it must have been particularly dense. It's kinda like Chuck E. Cheese, but a little less creepy. Like, it's down here is where Chuck E. Cheese is, like, about here. So, the restaurant has these animatronic characters, right? You've got Freddy, Foxy, Chica, Bonnie, the other ones, and they all move around at night and try to murder you. Pretty cool, right? But they refuse to admit that they do this. They say it's a little software malfunction. So, you survive 5 nights and a couple extra bonus ones. If you're cool, get paid and get on your way. But if you look under the surface, then there's a bunch of spooky stuff. Like newspaper articles, all sorts of secret Easter eggs, a golden bear, none of it makes sense. There's a purple guy, what's happening? But that's it. It's kind of just that until you get into some of the later games. But where some of the real information comes from is the novels. When I refer to the novels, I'm talking about 3 books, and my copies are a little worse for wear. You have The Silver Eyes, The Twisted Ones, and The Fourth Closet. These 3 are the novels. These 3 hold a huge section of the lore. I'm going to give you a quick run-through of each of the 3 books, right off the top of my head, okay? Boom, okay? Charlie and her friends come back to their hometown when their buddy's death anniversary happens. He died in the pizzeria, get that. Anyways, they want to explore it. So they break and enter into this pizzeria, which has been closed, and it's hidden in the mall, and they search around, find a creepy guy, and then they leave. We find out that Charlie's dad is the co-founder of the pizzeria, blah, 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 yada, yada. They almost get killed, and they all leave. Numero dos comes out, and there's a bunch of murders around town, okay? Not good. Sheriff calls Charlie because it seems a little similar to some of the murders that happened at the pizzeria her dad owned. Little spooky. They find out there's a bunch of even creepier animatronics, and they're trying to kill everyone dead, but they're specifically looking for Charlie. Okay, and there's a reason for this. So when Charlie doesn't get killed dead by the animatronics, at the very end of the book, the creepy guy from the last book comes back, and then a giant pile of rubble falls and crushes them both, and everybody thinks they're dead. In this book, she comes back. She's back alive, but everybody thinks she's a little different, maybe more mature, maybe this life-altering event might have scarred her a little, but the weird thing to one character, John, her love interest, is that she's not scarred up at all from all of this. So he doesn't trust her, the book mainly follows him, and around the end he finds out that she was actually, the one that they'd all been talking to was actually a clone, but they were both robots, and at the very end they get stabbed with the robot Charlie's dad used to kill himself. Did you follow along? Because I didn't. So that creepy guy actually turns out to be a guy named William Afton, the other founder of the pizzeria, or he's called Purple Guy in all the games. And through a lot of the mini games, you get to play as him, and you find out about his children and stuff. But an interesting detail that not a lot of people talk about is there's a box in the 4th game that you can't open, and you don't know what's inside of it. In this book, they go to a house which is associated with that family, and they find a box. And when they open it, it's the first Charlie, the one that they had thought they'd been missing the whole time. So my theory is that those are the same boxes. I could be crazy, I don't know, maybe they'll prove me wrong. But later on, Five Nights at Freddy's, the company that makes the pizzeria, turns into an entertainment company owned by an individual person. And that's kind of interesting, but they start developing virtual reality games. They make a super mall, like all sorts of little things to just make them seem like they're making a horror story out of all of this stuff, even though it actually happened. So they make this huge cover-up, but then, guess who comes to bite back at them? William Afton. He comes back in the form of Glitchtrap, which is like a robot version of himself in the computer game, and takes over the mind of an employee named Vanessa, or Vanny, and she starts attacking this kid named Gregory, who gets locked in the Pizzaplex. Oh no, super spooky, I'm aware. But in one of the endings, the fire endings, there's 2 Vanessas. How does that happen? Well, remember when there were 2 Charlies in the books? Because I think there's a correlation there. Anyways, all of this is just speculation, but I just wanted to scream at a camera about a thing that I was obsessed with when I was super young and still am kind of obsessed with, and hopefully some people out there will make some sense of my meaningless rambling. So, thanks for watching, I guess.